You're very welcome back to Unstable TV. So we have a special video for you guys, considering we are in the country where this takes place. So what is that, Danielle?
So today, James, it is Anzac Day in Australia and New Zealand. So Anzac Day is a day where Australians and New Zealanders remember the bravery and the sacrifices from people who served in the wars. So for a lot of people, it's a day filled with a lot of ceremonies, especially in the mornings. There is marches on in some places in the country, and there's a lot of dawn services on as well to commemorate.
But behind all the ceremonies and the celebrations, there is a lot of shocking truth behind all that, and that's something myself and Danielle are going to be looking at today. So without further ado, guys, let's hop into fact number 1.
So first off, we have the brutality at Gallipoli. This is one of the most defining moments of the Anzac legends. But unfortunately, what a lot of people don't seem to realise, and we didn't realise this either, that it was an absolute disaster. Over 130,000 lives were lost here. That's insane. So the Anzacs, who were mostly young men, they were really inexperienced. While this battle was going on, they faced a lot of diseases that they never came across before. Really like scorching hot weather, which a lot of people aren't used to. I know Australia seems like a really hot country, but there's a lot of different climates here. And they were fighting an absolute relentless enemy, and it just did not stop. So for 8 months, the guts of a year, like, can we just stop for a minute and realise how long that is to fight in a war? 8 continuous months. They were all just trapped in a horrible stalemate in the war in Gallipoli, and it just didn't seem like there was any victory for anybody in sight. So as we can all imagine, this ended in failure. This campaign was just a huge fail from the beginning. But this one battle became the absolute cornerstone of Australia and New Zealand, the Anzacs, national identity. But at what cost? 130,000 people, 130,000 lives and families ruined.
Moving on to fact 2, so we're looking at the true scale of the casualties on Anzac Day that is rarely talked about. We often hear about the casualties in Gallipoli, but the story doesn't seem to stop there. The real toll of this war was much broader. So roughly around 8,000 Australian soldiers and 2,700 New Zealand soldiers died in Gallipoli. Although this may seem huge in the number of casualties, across the total number of wars was over 100,000 lives claimed, which is scary to even think about. And for a lot of us, we're looking at that, it's just a number. It's not just a number. That's multiple families torn apart, multiple communities destroyed, and with all these communities and families left to mourn, this still echoes throughout history to this day.
So for fact number 3, we're going to be talking about the Indigenous soldiers that are usually left out of the conversation. For many years, there's been just silence about the contribution of Indigenous Australians and Maori soldiers, which is very sad. These fought just as bravely as the other soldiers, but unfortunately for years and years, their story about their contribution that led to Anzac Day has just been untold, unheard. They've been denied recognition for their service. They faced the absolute horrors of a battle, and also faced systematic racism when they came back home, which is just, it's horrible. It's only been in recent years that people have begun to uncover the truth about the Indigenous soldiers and the Maori soldiers that actually took part in these wars and helped as well. And it's about time people gave them their honour that they deserve too.
So looking over at fact 4, so a big thing that's overlooked is the mental scars of PTSD in every war. Looking at post-traumatic stress disorder, it actually wasn't recognised in war or military combat until the late 1980s. That's crazy. Thinking about PTSD, thousands of Anzac soldiers came home with not just physical scars, but they also had invisible scars. And this trauma was PTSD, which couldn't be seen as a result of this war. What people didn't see was the mental toll of this war alone, the anxiety, the depression, and the alienation, which is only really truly being looked at today and further discovered. With a lot of war stories, the soldiers hoped the combat would end on the battlefield, but this unfortunately followed all these soldiers home. and took a further toll on their own personal lives.
So for fact number 5, we're going to be talking about the changing nature of the commemorations. In recent years in Australia, and New Zealand too, Anzac Day has become more of just a solemn day of remembrance. It's now become a public holiday. Anzac Day is now used for major corporation sales, barbecues, because that's what Australians love, and it's been used for sporting events. Some Aussies and New Zealanders argue that the true meaning of Anzac Day is being lost with all this, and you can kind of understand why. It's a little bit sad to see. A lot of people think it's become way too commercialized in the last recent years, and it's straying away from what the soldiers actually did. So is Anzac Day just being used now for a day off, or is it still a time for people to truly reflect on what happened? I like to think it's the latter.
So that was our top facts for Anzac Day. As we can see going through this, Anzac Day is a day for remembrance and also a reflection. And it's not just a day to remember the sacrifice, but it's also to remember the brutal realities of war, not just on the battlefield, but off the battlefield.
The cost of the war, the suffering of all the soldiers and the civilians as well. The huge sacrifices, the pain everyone went through. To truly be able to honour all of these soldiers, you have to look at every single part of the war. Not just what happened afterwards, but what happened during it as well. We have to also remember the suffering that everyone went through. It's horrible.
Let's not forget Anzac Day and all the fallen soldiers. By looking through the past is how we help to shape a better future. It's not just the commercial side of this for the day, it's also remembering what these brave soldiers went through.
So that was almost some kind of hidden history nearly about Anzac Day that a lot of people kind of won't remember. Especially a lot of people that don't live in Australia or New Zealand. So we're doing this video because this is our second year in Australia during Anzac Day. It's important to know about the culture of the country that you're in, and you're getting to know everybody and getting to know their history so you can understand their way of living. If you guys have any other videos about hidden history from anywhere, any country in the world that you think we should check out, you know what to do. Drop it in the comments down below.
Also in the comment section of this video, everyone please be respectful to each other, but do tell us your own point of view about Anzac Day. How do you guys celebrate it? How do you remember these people? If we are lucky to have anyone in the comment section that has a family member or knows of a friend that fought during Anzac Day, can you share that with us in the comments down below?
And if you like videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you don't miss any videos that we do in the future.
Has been our 2 cents. I'm going to chop ourselves out of this.